Students were introduced to using the pronoun they as a singular pronoun, referring to this teacher. I will change the name out of respect for the teacher. The sentence the students were asked to copy was,
what was the one sentence in 8th grade English honors class that sparked a massive parent backlash? We'll show you right after this. Well, hello and welcome to Alamance County Talks Politics. On October the 14th, 2025, parents from Clover Garden School went before the board of directors to express their disapproval of the events that happened in the 8th grade honors English class. What happened? Well, here's a clip of one parent explaining the situation.
I have a 7th grader and a 5th grader at CGS. I would like to start by saying I'm here because I would like answers in my questions, none of which we got through an email correspondence with our director. My husband and I contacted the administrative team, K through 8, not high school, regarding a situation where we were made aware of from other parents who have students in the 8th grade language arts class. Why does this affect you may ask? Well, my child will be in that teacher's class next year, and when I hear of something that is not done correctly, I like to find a way to make it right. Students were introduced to using the pronoun they as a singular pronoun, referring to this teacher. I will change the name out of respect for the teacher. The sentence the students were asked to copy was, Crawford wishes they could teleport across the classroom. The teacher corrected the students when the students stated the sentence was incorrect due to the use of a plural noun in a singular subject. However, this teacher took the opportunity to tell them that they referred to me or her. A door opened and conversations began happening at school and home that are not appropriate for 13-year-old children.
So here you have it in class, the 8th grade English honors class. There's a conversation. There's a sentence that is given by the teacher. The statement was, McDowell wishes they could teleport across the room, and the students questioned the subject verb of the pronoun agreement, the subject pronoun agreement, and the teacher then went on to explain that it was correct because it was referring to her. Apparently, this teacher, she goes by the pronoun they/them. I was actually researching this. Yeah, apparently maybe she identifies as non-binary. I'm not sure. But anyway, the conversation opened up a conversation in the classroom, and obviously it spilled over into the school and into the home. Let's listen to this.
The students were writing sentences using the prefix tellies. I would like to know why this teacher thought it was appropriate to bring preferred pronouns into the education and conversation of our children.
Now, there's two parts to this. I've got another part. Got another video from her husband, and he's going to bring up another part. I really wanted to play him first, but I wanted to lay the foundation so that you would understand the situation that was taking place. So here we have the teacher creating this conversation between the students about this subject verb agreement between the subject and the pronoun agreement there, not agreeing, so to speak. And this teacher says, well, it's a correct statement because it refers to me. Now, like I said, there's really two explanations here. Number one, either this is an ideological indoctrination attempt, which I believe it to be, that she'll talk about in just a moment. I don't believe this is accidental. It's like this mother says, this teacher could have used any sentence that would have met the guidelines of the North Carolina L.8.1 guidelines, but she chose not to. The second part that I'm going to be looking at, and I'll be playing this in just a moment, is what does the state of North Carolina require? And then thirdly, we're going to be looking at the board of directors and how they responded. But listen to this. Listen to how she completes this. This is very interesting.
Others may see this as harmless. It's not. This is exactly how pushing agenda and political indoctrination begins in schools and classrooms. The teacher caused confusion and brought political ideology into a classroom where it doesn't belong. The teacher could have chosen to use any correct gender-specific pronoun, yet she didn't. Was there motive? Perhaps. When do we begin confusing our students and begin teaching they as a plural and as a singular pronoun? If that is being done, when does it start being taught that way? Has this deviation been approved by the board as part of the CGS curriculum? Are we willing to allow our test scores to continue to decline and teach away from the North Carolina standards? All my husband and I asked for from the director was her facts. We asked her what standards this would fall under. We asked her what policy CGS has where teaching preferred pronouns is in a classroom acceptable. We received no facts, only vague, emotion-filled responses with no clear resolutions or answers on how to proceed forward. Really, the only answers we received were that our children could be disciplined if correct pronouns were not used, and most hurtful of all, you could enroll your kids somewhere else if you're not satisfied.
So those are good questions. That's a great point. What are the standards that you're using to teach? So anyway, this parent says there's only two options. Our children can either be disciplined, or we can take our kids and remove them, take them to another place, enroll them in another school. Now, we're going to go now to her husband, who is going to be talking about the North Carolina standards. What is expected to be taught in schools? This is the main argument right here. What is Clover Garden supposed to be teaching the kids? Listen to him.
Today, I'll be using words provided to me by the director in written communication.
So this is written communication. These are words that he and the director had, and the communication is pretty clear.
First, she wrote on standards. We teach our students not just traditional English, but also the use of English in our society.
Okay, so this is important. What standard do you use when you're teaching kids English? What is the standard? Well, and she states right there, first he says she wrote on standards. We teach our students not just traditional English, but also the use of English in our society. Now, listen to what he says.
There's no such standard of English in our society in North Carolina. The North Carolina Standard L.8.1 requires command of conventions of the standard English grammar and usage. Our website, CGS, says we adhere to the North Carolina State Standard. I looked through board records. I did not see a board vote that approved any such deviations. So my question is the director making decisions without the board's approval? Are we making changes to coursework in K through first grade where pronouns are originally introduced?
Yeah, these are very good questions he brings up. He says the standard, the North Carolina standard is L.8.1. It requires command and conventions of the standard English grammar and usage. On the CGS website, he goes on to say that we adhere to the North Carolina state standard. And he says he looks through the board records and he saw no vote that approved any deviation from that. So then he goes on and he asks several more questions about that. Well, approximately a month after this meeting, the board of directors sent a letter to the Clover Garden School family. From my perspective, this letter tries to do three things. Number one, it tries to conflate the issue and thus create even more confusion. What do I mean? In the letter, they say, quote, this was simply a vocabulary example using the teacher's name and the root word. It was not a grammar example, end quote. Why would a teacher not use a vocabulary example in a sentence that is grammatically correct? Remember, the purpose of the example was to help the kids learn the root of the word tele, not to instruct the kids in a radical gender ideology. You see, this created confusion and led to a discussion that was inconsistent with the purpose of the lesson plan. Number two, they tried to discredit the parents by giving an example where the pronoun they may be used with a singular verb. The example the school gave in the letter was, quote, when we receive a say something anonymous tip, the tipster is often referred to as they when the tip is reported into the crisis center. It is a plural noun with a singular verb. Yes, and a major reason for this is because they want the person, whether it is a male or female, to remain anonymous. They do not want to give any specific information that could reveal the identity of the tipster. And if you remember correctly, the purpose of the exercise was to learn the root of the word tele, not to teach them the ways the pronoun they is used with a singular verb. The example was not accidental nor appropriate. Radical gender ideology has no place in the classroom. Even in this letter, they stated this example would not be used again. And I wonder why. I think they know. Number three, finally, the school's letter concludes by stating our community, quote, our community includes people of different races, ethnicities, beliefs, and identities. And right there, they should have put a period. They should have just put a period and continued on with the letter, but they didn't. They put a hyphen and they put including LGBTQ plus individuals. The board of directors further emphasized that at CGS, we value respect, kindness, and tolerance for all. One might reasonably ask why the school felt it necessary to explicitly highlight LGBTQ plus individuals in this list while not similarly mentioning heterosexual students or other common identity categories. The selective inclusion of certain identities while omitting others can give the impression that the school is prioritizing or signaling alignment with particular ideological perspectives. This phrasing may reasonably lead some to perceive the institution as leaning toward progressive or left leaning values in its approach. I don't know. Only time will tell. But let me encourage you, if you have a student that attends Clover Garden School and you see something like this, let me encourage you to send me an email at alamancecountytalkspolitics@gmail.com. I hope that the administration, I hope the board of directors, and I hope this school attorney will correct this and keep it that way. For the kids need to learn the correct way according to the North Carolina Standard Course of Study, L.8.1, as this parent said in the meeting. Well, this is Alamance County Talks Politics. I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like to, please leave a comment. And in the comment section, hit the like button. And until next time, take care.